You are like Papa. That's what I feel.
Hello?
Hey guys, welcome back to the pod. So, I hope you bear with me right now. I don't know if you can actually notice the fact that I have literally the biggest spot ever on my nose. Like, literally, it looks like a third eye right now, and I have tried to cover it as much as possible, so please bear with me and ignore that. And I also understand that I've already done a video on New Year's, but I'd like to say fortunately, but honestly, unfortunately for me, I had the most, interesting New Year apparently, so I thought I'd just come on and tell you a wee story time about that, and then maybe talk about my new ins and outs of this year and what I'm going to be planning on doing with myself. And yeah, I think from last time I've kind of thought of a few New Year's resolutions and a couple things that I'm kind of trying to work towards this year, and not just graffitiing a wall and starting a podcast. So hopefully it'll be a productive year. Not that wasn't productive. I feel like that was the most I could have got out of 2024, but hopefully 2025 has a lot more in store. So where do I even begin? Let's go from the 31st of December. So it just been Christmas. My Christmas was great. I was really quiet this year, and like I said the last video, I just spent it with my mum, and we managed to have a really good time. Please tell me your thoughts on the Gavin and Stacey finale as well, because I thought that was personally the highlight of my Christmas. I was sat there patiently waiting until 9pm to then turn on that wee iPlayer app to then watch it live. Honestly, the whole thing that where it was like I had to delete it immediately after in case the TV license crew came after me, but I'd be watching that, like I was watching it, and it was insane. That was one thing that kind of made Christmas for me. I know everyone has their kind of like things they do and traditions, and I'd say that was the biggest tradition that I have, is just watching a wee Gavin and Stacey Christmas special. Unfortunately, that was actually the last one, but maybe hopefully they'll do a wee spin-off with a couple of the characters. That's what I hope for in the future, so I can then be able to sit down with like my kids in the future and be like, this is the shit, like this is what I live for, like this is what Christmas is to me. And I'm sure hopefully they'll understand that, and nativity, their two things is what I'll be bringing them up on, honestly. So I personally loved it. I think they did a fantastic job with it. I have no qualms with that, other than they never had Dino in it, but I'm pretty sure he couldn't make it. We all know that guy, like the actor that was in Horrible Histories and everything. Like, we all kind of grew up with him, if you're kind of more similar age to me. So it was kind of unfortunate that he wasn't in it, but the rest of the cast did an absolute fantastic job. I was really worried about it, because I was like, if I'm really disappointed and this is going to be the last one, but it was incredible and I loved it. And I'm not gonna lie, did anyone else cry? I was sobbing at the end. I feel like I'm quite an empathetic person. Like, is that the word? Like, I'm an empath, so I was like, well, I'm not empath, but I don't know if I'd say like empathetic. Is that a full word? Which is me as fuck. But basically, I was sobbing by the end of it, and I was sat watching it with my mum, because we obviously I don't watch live television on the telly anymore, and I usually wouldn't watch TV like anyway. It's not like that's. Honestly, I feel so bored. Like, I sound like such a boring person saying that, but I can't sit down and concentrate on like a TV show or like a movie. I've genuinely struggled with that for God knows how long, but something about this programme that I just find it really funny, and I just needed to watch it again. So I managed to sit down, and I remember walking through with it on my phone screen. So I'm like walking through, and I'm like, do you want to watch the Gavin and Stacey finale with me, mother? And she's watching probably some serial killer shit on the TV as usual. I don't know why. I'd be sleeping with one eye open with her, with some of the stuff she watches, and she just looks at me, she's like, not on a phone. And I'm like, and I just put my head down, and I was like, but that's what kind of like, this is what makes my Christmas. And I think she must have felt bad for me, that we weren't at a Christmas table this year, because she just turned around and she was like, come on then. So we sat down, and we just, on the couch, and I had my phone, we took turns of holding the phone. So like every 20 minutes, like she would get tired of holding it, so I would hold it. And honestly, it was so good. We had such a nice Christmas. It was really just cosy and nice, and quite quiet, and I really thought my New Year's was going to be quiet as well, until one of my friends last minute invited me out, and she was like, will we just go out in town? So I was like, okay, let's do it. And obviously, since like it's taxis and all that are like so expensive, and we decided to spend it in Glasgow, and I live a wee bit outside, so it was probably going to cost us an absolute arm and a leg to come home in a taxi anyway, so we thought it would be best just to book a hotel room. Unfortunately, like, not obviously unfortunately for us, everything at New Year's is either fully booked already or genuinely so dear. So we chose the shittest hotel possible, the cheapest one, and it still was quite dear for what it was, because obviously they just bumped their prices up because it's New Year. But listen, you know, we suffered and we just went with it. Like, you know, like, we listen and we don't judge, especially when we have no money to be spending on a fancy bougie hotel, especially at New Year's when the prices are going to be extortionate anyway. So yeah, we booked that, and that was very last minute. So I was packing my wee case and stuff like that, got all my accessories in, and was raring to go. And I don't know what made me think, yeah, on the 31st, it would be a great idea to book a tattoo, especially knowing that I was going to be out that night later in the day. But I ended up booking it anyway, because I hadn't had a tattoo in so long. So I thought, you know what, that's a great idea. I'll book the biggest tattoo I've ever had done. The longest sitting I've ever had to... listen, I get line work. I know I might look like I'm covering tattoos, but it's line work. I get no shading, nothing like that, no colour. I am a shite bag. I cannot stress that enough. How, if you think that, oh, that must have hurt, it's line work. Once the line work's done, that's it. It's not like they have to hammer over it with any shading or any colour or any highlights. It's done, you know. So that's technically me tapping out. Kind of the main reason I've kind of got line work anyway, because yeah, but I like the look of it, but also kind of because I would never sit through shit. There's no way I could sit through that. Unfortunately, I am not that brave. And anybody that says they enjoy the pain of a tattoo, psycho. Literal psychopathic behaviour, and or they're lying. And I had this discussion with my tattoo artist on the day actually, and I was like sitting there like sitting through it, because I've literally got, if you couldn't already tell, I don't think you can see it in this, but I've got my whole side of my neck done and into my back and on the other side. I'm trying not to turn my head that much, or you will literally see my extensions hanging out of my head right now, because my hair is really needing done. You just got to roll with it. I am balding severely, you know. So all of those TikToks on, you know, all those TikToks where you're slagging off your ex-boyfriend saying that they've got like bad hairlines and they're balding, I can't be reposting them, unfortunately, because me too, you know, we're in this together. Like, that's kind of the thing. So if I'm with a baldy, then you know, we get each other. I feel like, you know. Not me getting so distracted, because I just first had to say that. But anyway, yeah, so I got a tattoo on the 31st. Worst idea of my life. Even my mum knows me more than I know myself. So as soon as I'd booked it, I was like, yeah, my tattoo's on the 31st. And she was like, what, New Year's Eve? And I was like, yeah. She was like, yeah, bright idea. Yeah, like, well done. You're really going to like that one. And I was like, I'm very much aware. And then I started deeping it. I was like, you've not had a proper tattoo in like a year now. You're fucked. And I was, yeah, I was brave up until I sat in that tattoo seat, like that tattoo parlour's chair. I was like, I can't do this. Like, I have never physically like I was making noise the full time. It was genuinely like my adrenaline had ran out immediately. I was on like 4 hours sleep. I'd actually threw up 3 times, and I had half a slice of toast in the morning that I could barely keep down. I lied on the sheet. I was like, yeah, when did you last eat? An hour ago. Yeah, what, 2 bites of toast, Aleah? I don't think that counts. And it was like, you on any medication? I was like, I'm not. I'm not getting into that right now either. So I just left them blank, and I was fine. I sat through it, and actually, well, I'm saying I was fine. No, I survived it, but I wasn't fine. Oh, believe me, I was in bluets after that. But yeah, managed to get that done. And then after that was booked at 11:30, and then I finished about 3. And then, yeah, I know it wasn't really that long, but it was long to me. Yeah, so I packed my wee case and I was ready to go, and I got on my train, and I honestly had, what the plan was, so my mate had already started going to Glasgow. She was like, I'm going to go to the hotel earlier on and get ready there. And I was like, that's fine, I'll come home from this tattoo, get like washed up and cleaned up and get everything sorted, pack my bag, and then I'll just come with like a full face of makeup on and hopefully my hair done. But at this point, I had argued with my mother, and she was like, you know what, they're in here. and she knows that would have ruined my New Year because unfortunately for me, I still can't curl my hair. This is hence the past couple of weeks I've been looking like this. Again, the hair extensions are hanging at my head as well, so I don't really want to wear my hair down because it's so noticeable, even though it looks kind of worse with it tied up, but camera kind of hides it, so it's alright. So I was like, well, I'm snookered, I'm not going, I am fully not going with my hair not done. And then Amy, like my mate Amy, she was like, don't worry, I'll do your hair. And I was like, genuinely, my Shayla, like my Shayla. So we got ready and ended up going out, and we walked up Sauchiehall Street and everything was ticketed that way, and we're thinking, oh well, what's the point of paying to get into like a bar now when we're going to end up moving from that bar to then going to the ticketed club anyway that we'd already bought. So yeah, I digress. We walked up and then we walked back, and we thought, you know what, fuck it, we'll just go back up and we'll go into a wee bar and we'll just pay it and then we'll just do it and we'll just see how it goes. Yep, we never left that club the whole entire night. We were so drunk that we never left. And ironically, I was saying to everyone as a joke, that was the plan, get really, really wasted on New Year, start in the pits of hell, and then the rest of the year it can only go up from there, you know? Yeah, well, I actually managed to pull that one off, believe it or not. So we went in, we got a couple drinks, a couple turned into 2 minutes, and I was obviously sloshed. I am the biggest lightweight ever. I'm not even going to sit here and say that I can handle my drink, because I can't. Everyone knows it. I'm the biggest lightweight out of the full friend group. And at one point, Amy's turning around to me, and I'm looking at her, and I'm thinking, wow, this is the most drunk we have ever been. And it was such a laugh. We were the only ones on the dance floor for ages. But then eventually when we started dancing, I think other people were like, wow, okay, NPCs have hit the dance floor, it's time for us to go up. When actually it was main character behaviour from us. But, you know, looking back on it now, it probably looked like, you know that episode in SpongeBob where like the, what's it called, like the jellyfish jam or something comes on and they're all like listening to pure mad techno and they're all doing the mad dances and it's like the mad split screen. That's probably what we looked like. It was genuinely despicable of how much of a state we were. Anyways, we ended up having a couple more drinks and not leaving. Like, we did not leave that bar. We just stayed there the whole night. So that brings me to the end of the club. So we were boogieing. We met some of Amy's friends. And we met other people, so it wasn't too bad. And Amy turned around to me and she was like, right, I need to go to the cloakroom and get my jacket. I need to go back to the hotel. This was 10 to 3. So this is really the only time I could really time checked, because it was 10 minutes before the club closed, so that's the only way I remember that. The rest of it was a blur. So we got our jackets and we went out the club, and Amy's left, like she just makes a beeline back for the hotel, and me being me, I thought, I'm going to probably be so shit-faced, I don't trust myself taking the room key, and I'm thinking, Amy, you're the more responsible one. So I thought. To be fair, she is, but the events that happen further, I am wishing I don't know, strapped that room key to me that night. Oh my god. So she ends up leaving and I'm blotto outside this club on Sauchiehall Street looking, and she left me with her 2 mates that I ended up becoming friends with that night anyway, so it was fine. And I'm at the phone and I'm like, where are you? Like, I just came out, where are you? I've got my jacket. And she's like, Aleah, I'm making a beeline back for the hotel. My shoes are off, I'm away. And I was like, oh, cool, don't worry. She was fine. I stayed on the phone until she reached that hotel room. It was literally like less than a 5-minute walk back to her hotel, which was the biggest win. I think that was another reason why we thought just staying here would be a better, like a safer bet. So I'm thinking to myself, right, I'll start, you know, I'm like, you know, what have I not done in 2025? And that's 8. Yeah, of course, my big back self, first thing I thought of was, what am I going to eat? So, yeah. Not that I needed it, because I was crunk. And the worst thing is, if you eat that night, I know I'm going to be whiteying either when I get back to this hotel room or when I wake up in this hotel room. So, but drunk me at that time did not care. I was wanting chips. So I seen this wee place across the road that was still open. And I was like, well, we just go and get chips. So we went into the wee shop, and this guy is standing there steaming, and I don't know, like, he looks a mess. I don't know if he had his missus there with him, but he's like, oh, listen, I've got some change here, like, get what you want. And I was like, what? I don't know if he thought I was his girlfriend for a hot min, But I was like, I just like was like, can I just get 2 portions of chips to the guy? And I'm like staring at him, looking beside me, and he's like, no, get what you want. And I'm like, I am. Don't worry, you're not like, I don't know why you're being like the order police here. I'm really, you're not persuading me in any shape or form here. This is a takeaway, mate. I know what I'm getting. 2 portions of chips, please. Because at this point, I'd asked Amy what she needed, and she was like, she was like, you know what, just bring me back a portion of chips as well. I was like, easy. 2 portions of chips, please, mate. And this guy hands him his change to pay for my chips, and I'm like, 2025, you know what, I'll take it. This is probably the only free thing I'm gonna get tonight, mate. At this point, no one's buying me free drinks, because they're probably looking at me think, if she drinks any more and I've bought her the drink, it's gonna make it look like I've spigged that bitch. So that's fine. So the chips came, and I got handed, the guy behind the thing knew I'd ordered them, so he handed me the chips. And I just thought, look back at the guy, he's nowhere to be seen. I thought, well, fuck it. I just walked out with him. And I'm scranning these chips, like, honestly, like, my life depends on it. And the 2 mates were like, right, well, we'll walk you back to the hotel and that's that. So I end up walking back. Shoes are off at this point. Heels are off. Like, they're off. They're, like, they're now in my clutch with these 2 portions of chips. And I'm just, heading back. I felt like taking the Krusty Krab pizza back to the gaff. Like, that's where I was headed. And I got back to the hotel, went in, and I was so excited to reach that hotel room. I went up the stairs, back to the room, and I just tap on the door, and I'm like, okay, Amy, let me in. Nothing. Radio silence. I'm like, hiya, can you let me in? Nothing again. I'm thinking, right, I'm looking up, and the reception desk's on the same floor as our room, but we're at the back of the corridor, and there's another door kind of to get to the reception room. So I'm thinking, maybe I'm safe banging on this door. So I'm like, doof, doof, doof at this point. Amy, please let me in. Nothing. At this point, I'm thinking, I might be fucked. Like, she got back at this hotel at 3. It's now about 4, and it's dead silent. And I'm thinking, I just phoned you not that long ago. What is going on? Like, what? Where are you? She's definitely in this room because I made sure of it. I was not letting her walk back on her own, even though she left me, but I was with people, so I was safe. Yeah, and I ended up going back to the reception. Like, honestly, it was like walk of shame. Early hours of the morning, back to this reception desk, and I remember just saying to the woman, hiya, I was like, I don't know how to tell you this, but I don't trust myself with a room key, so I've left my room key in the room, and my mate's already in the room, but she's not answering the door, she's fast asleep. And the woman just looks at me and she goes, oh, don't worry, I'll just check, just wait, just what's your name, and I'll just check the booking. And I went, oh, it wasn't me who booked it, it was my mate. I could tell you her name, but yeah, I can't do much more than that. And she just looks at me and she's like, there's really nothing I can do then. And I'm thinking, what do you mean? There's nothing you can do? Yeah, there's nothing I can do. I says, these are her chips I have in my hand. She needs her chips. I would have 2 portions of chips, but I was out. I've ate my chips. And she's like, oh, well, yeah. She was like, I don't know what you want me to do. And I'm like, anything, just let me in, please. I'm definitely in there. I start describing what she was wearing. I'm like, I could tell you, I like, you even check anything. I've been in here, I swear to God, my stuff's in that room. Yeah, no, it's health and safety, man, like, so sorry. Like, Jesus Christ. Then this lovely wee guy comes out, and she was obviously the manager, and he's like, we need to help her, like, we can't just leave her. He must have felt sorry for me. Anybody would have. I was a state. So she's like, okay, well, I can maybe check the CCTV to see if, like, So she checks the CCTV, and everything checks out. Every timestamp that I gave her checks out. She even goes to me, so can you tell me the times that you both walked in at? And I was like, this is the thing, like, I was getting a tattoo earlier today. I couldn't make it in time when she walked in, so I had to come like 2 hours later. And she's like, oh, that's great. That makes it even worse. And I'm like, yeah, I'm well aware now. I didn't expect, that to be the issue. I thought I literally am just off the phone with her, really, and I didn't think she'd be out cold, like genuinely, like black out. I didn't know she'd be unconscious in a coma by the time I got back. And I didn't even think I was that like late back, but apparently so. So she's just looking at me, and at this point I just go back and I'm sat outside the hotel room because they're deciding what to do with me. And I'm like just praying they're like, you know what, fuck it, we'll just let her back in. But this is why I'm not saying the hotel. I feel like I can't disclose that because they could definitely get the heavy sack for this. So I walk back out and I'm like, hey guys, so what's the plan then, gang? Like, what is the plan? Are you just gonna let me back in, or am I just gonna need to sleep in that couch at reception? Because listen, I've been eyeing it up. It's fucking like 4:30 at this point. I'm fucked. And they're like, you know what, we'll phone them up, we'll message the management team, like the higher up, to see what we could do. And she goes, but the only thing that I can suggest right now is doing a welfare check. I'm like, a welfare check? Why would you need to do that? Like, she's not in danger. So they go, yeah, we need to do a welfare check. And I'm like, oh, a welfare check, does that just mean like you need to walk in? That's great, that's what I wanted all along. She goes, no, I can't, but the police can. Yeah. It's like 5 a.m. New Year's Day, and you guys are expecting me to just go, bring them in, like just let them walk in. My mate's black out. I don't know what's going on in that room. The manager's tried banging on the door. I've tried banging on the door. Now I'm like, you know what? Fuck that. We're not doing that. She goes, well, the only thing I can advise is if you just go back to the door and start banging on it again. This is how shit this hotel is. She's going to let me bang on the hotel door at 5 a.m. even louder than what I already was. So I'm like, you know what, if you're going to let me, I'll do it. So I go back and I'm just like, Amy, please, at this point, like, let me in. I'm like genuinely banging on this door so loud that this lovely girl from 7 doors up must have heard me, and she just comes. It's like honestly something out of a movie. It was a mirage at this point. She walks out of her room, and I swear nothing more than an oversized top, and she goes to me, she kind of struts out. She struts out, and I'm like, Diva, please help me. At first I thought she was coming to knock me clean out because I had been banging on the door, and I'm like, okay, Slay Diva, like before I'm like, oh my god. And she just comes, she's like, hey girl, like, hey. And I'm like, oh my god, hey, help. And she just immediately goes like, don't mind me, like I'm just in a thong and an oversized top. And I'm like, I don't care. Honestly, look at the state of me at this point. My tights had ladders in them, holes in them. I genuinely looked like I'd been dragged up the road, I had my heels off, my jacket heels, all the wee portion of the chips are at the door. And she's just looking at me, and she must have thought, are you okay? And I'm like, my mate's like out cold in her bedroom, like in the room, and I can't get back in, like I've left my key in there. And she just looks at me and she's like, no way. And she's just like, have you ever had any like you've been loaded fries and that, like have you had them in Glasgow? And I was like, no. She's like, you need to have it, like they're so good, like incredible. And I'm like, mate, I'm sure they are, but I don't know what to do with myself right now. I'm like, you know what, the last thing I'm thinking about is having loaded fries, like I've got a portion of chips there. If I was really that desperate, I'd eat them and all. To be fair, I'd already ate my chips, and I think I was so steaming, I just started eating my mates anyway, because I was like, but she's not going to eat them now, they're getting cold, and she's definitely out cold, so I might as well just eat them. Oh my god. And she's like, I'll try. So we're both banging on this door at this point, nothing. And then I think the receptionist must have thought, fucking hell, like we can't have the full of this like row of rooms all coming out to help this girl. So she comes back round, she goes, right, I'll try knocking on the door. So there's 3 of us banging on this door at this point. Lord. So nothing. Again, absolutely nothing. So I'm like, great. And then everyone's asking me stupid questions like, have you tried phoning her? Like, what do you mean have I tried phoning her? Do you not think I did that like maybe like 2 hours ago? No, let me just try phoning her now. It's such a good idea. Of course I've tried phoning her. I've tried phoning her numerous times. She's not answering to 3 women banging on the door. I don't think her like little cute like ringtone's gonna wake her up. Do you know what I mean? And then I go back to the reception because she's like, the receptionist's like, right, I'll keep trying. And I'm just sitting in the reception like, honestly, I give up. Like I was deteriorating. And she comes back out and she goes, I can hear a noise, like there's definitely someone in there. And I was like, I am very, very well aware. She's like, because at this point she's like even wondering if she's got back to the room and maybe I'm just really drunk and thought she is and she's not. And I'm like, I'm telling you, she's in there. I phoned her and I made sure she was back. Like, I'm not that bad of a friend where I'm going to go, okay, bye, good luck, and then hang up. Like, I made sure she walked in that door. And so yeah, and I told her we were just round the corner. Like, you could probably point to the place we were, like from the window of our room. Like, I was so pissed off, and she was like, "Don't worry, like we'll figure something out." And I'm like, "Well, I wish we could have figured something out fucking like an hour and a half ago." She's like, "Right, like maybe 999 is the option. You know, maybe that welfare check is the only option." She goes, "You know what? I'll let you in." I shouldn't be really saying this, but they let me in. She said, I'll open the door and I'll slowly peek it open and I'll wake her up, you know. And I was like, thank you so much, but why couldn't you have done that 2 fucking hours ago? Do you know what I mean? I'm like, thank you so much, but what the fuck? I am stressed. I have been pissing you off, pissing that lovely wee man off who's been trying. Clearly I'm like, lovely wee man, but he's clearly just hates me so much. He's like, get that fucking bitch back in her room. So I'm like back out and I'm like, right, what to do now? So I'm standing at reception like this waiting, and I'm just looking down the hall because I can see her like just slowly opening the door, and she's audibly probably shouting in the room at this point, and I can't hear nothing. And I'm just watching, and she just goes like this at me, and I'm thinking, what the fuck is in that room? Like, why is she hollering me to the room right now? So I walk up and she goes, she's still not answering me. She's dead. Like, immediately in my head, again, still drunk, my mate's dead. Maybe we should have just phoned the welfare check. Maybe it was a really bad idea not saying, like, you know what, just get the police to come and like wake her up. But I could not imagine anything worse than getting woken up at 5 a.m. to like all those officers like being like, you alright? So I was like, I feel like I've still chose the best option here. I'll resuscitate her. And I walk up and you just hear this like noise that's coming from the room. I don't know how to explain it, but I could just hear voices and this really loud noise. And I walk in, jaw hits the floor, like slaps the floor. My mate is out cold with the TV on full blast, and she's managed to come home drunk, like so drunk, plugged her hairdryer in and left it on the hotel bed, full, like on the 3rd setting of the hairdryer, like, you know, the full pelt, not just like the little one, not like the cool air, the full fucking hot air, like noise coming out of it. I don't know what she's watching at like 5 a.m. TV's on, it's blasting, and I'm stunned. I have never stayed over like in any like type of situation like this with my mate. Like, we've only just kind of, you know, we've went our separate ways at the end of the night, and I'm like, am I best pals with a serial killer? How has she fell asleep with a hairdryer on? And then I don't know what to do. I'm just kind of like this, and I look back at the manager and she's like, oh, hey, like, there you go, like, does she maybe like sleeping with white noise on? And I was so mortified. I just turned around and I was just like, I don't fucking know, like that. And I swore, and I felt so bad, and I was like, I am so sorry. And I was in so like such shock. I didn't know what to do. Like, I didn't know what the first thing I should have done was like wake her up, turn the TV off, you know, dry my hair, like, what the hell? And she goes, oh, it's fine, don't worry, maybe you should just unplug the hairdryer. So I'm like, yeah, great idea. So I goes, unplugs this hairdryer, and I'm just staring at my mate, who genuinely looks like she's dead on this bed. And she goes, well, wake her up. And I'm like, okay. So I go over to her and I'm like, hey mate, hiya. Nothing. And I'm thinking, oh my god, Amy, come on, like, please. Nothing. And I'm thinking, right, fuck this, Amy. And I'm shaking her, and eventually she just goes like this, like as if to be like, what are you wanting? And I'm like, what am I wanting? Like, what am I wanting? I was wanting to get lit in the room 2 hours ago, and now here I am, and now you're asking me what I want. You know, I was like, Sleeping Beauty, I've just woke you up. You know, I've just saved you from a burning building, almost. Like, you could have died. Anyways, I'm just like, oh hi, I'm back in, and I was like, she's alive, and I just turned around and I'm like, thank you so much, and the woman goes, have a nice night, and I'm like, she just shuts the door over her, and I just sit there in my bed and I'm thinking, what the heck? Like, what the heck have I just had to put up with for the past God knows how long? Was it really worth staying out that extra like 20 minutes, half an hour to get chips and then be stuck outside for God knows how long? No. Not at all. So, anyways, I fall asleep and I wake up and she wakes up and I remember just lying there. No, actually, no, tell a lie. I woke up first because funnily enough, she's passed out and forgot to set an alarm. So I think, well, checkout's 10 a.m. Fuck staying any later. They probably hate us. If I go back to that desk and ask for maybe like a late check-in time, they're going to tell us absolutely not. We want yous out. So I was thinking, right, I'm just going to go to sleep. So I turn over and I'm sleeping and I wake up to my alarm at 9 a.m. and I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, like I have had maximum 3 hours of sleep. I am cooked and I'm still steaming. And I'm just lying there and I turn over and Sleeping Beauty's still there, passed out cold, and I'm thinking, oh, I'm glad you're having the sleep, like the sleep of your life right now. And I just kind of turned back over and I'm staring at the wall because that's all I could do at this point. And I hear her kind of turn over and I'm like, she's woke up here, and I just go like this and stare at her from the other bed over there, and she just goes, I didn't let you in last night, did I? And I went, no. She went, how are you in this hotel room? And I went, oh, I just managed to like make myself, I'm so skinny and so fragile, I managed to go under the door and I just shimmied my way in. I fucking almost had the police break in this door to let me in this room and check up on you because you would not wake up to 3 grown women banging on that door. You had the poor wee guy who looked like he'd just started working here, terrified because you might have died. I was like, did you not think you should have maybe discussed that you are like Sleeping Beauty when you hit that pillow, head hits the pillow, that's it, you're out cold until Prince Charming comes in and saves you? Because, Prince Charming don't always have the room key, baby girl, and the window wasn't open for me to just like, get in. So I'm thinking to myself, like, girl, what the hell? Like, what was I supposed to do? Like, she's like, what did you do? And I was like, mate, a lot. I went, open your Snapchat. I had sent so many videos like of me vlogging this to her, and she's just watching this like, what the hell? I'm so sorry. I was like, mate, it was hilarious. Like, it's so fine, don't worry. And yeah, eventually we leave, and I just remember thinking, grab your shit, we need to get out of here. Like, we've not got late check-in, and I'm not asking for late check-in. Late checkout, sorry. We need to just go. We walk past the desk and I'm thinking, surely they've got new staff in at this point. Surely that lovely wee guy for last night's went home and had to take the day off because of what he just had to endure. And so I hands the key in at the desk and it's a different woman, and I'm thinking, yes, we've escaped, and it's not the woman from last night nor the man that helped me. So this woman, she goes to me, did you have a nice time? Everything okay with your stay? And I'm like, yeah, it was great. Thanks so much. Here you go. And I just have to pull my wee suitcase out of the room because I'm like this, pulling it away, like I just, with my head down, like in shame. This is a walk of shame times 1,000 at this point. I've actually, honestly, like never had a walk like it in my life. I looked rough as fuck. I felt rough as fuck. I still felt drunk. All I could think about was getting a hash brown from McDonald's, and that was all I needed. So on this corridor, we come face to face with that lovely wee man. He walks out, and I'm thinking, what the hell do I say to him? And I immediately just go, I am so sorry for last night. Thank you so much for your help. I says, if it wasn't for you, I probably wasn't getting back in that hotel room. He's so lovely. He's like, it's fine. He's so quiet and so shy, and I am the opposite. So I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, honestly, and he's like, don't worry about it. And I just go, Amy, apologise to the nice man. And she just looks up and she just goes, I am so sorry. And he's like, don't worry. He just walks off, and I'm like, I hope I never have to see him again because I don't know how to face that. And we just walk out the hotel and I'm just pulling my wee case out. So that was my New Year. Let me know how you guys' New Year went, because I thought I was going to have a quiet one, and I feel like that was anything but a quiet one. So yeah, if any of yous want to make me feel any better, or yous also got locked out your hotel room, please let me know, because I genuinely need it right now, because I am still feared up to the max, and it is now the 4th of January. So, and that's when we're filming this, so yeah, yous won't be seeing this for a wee while, but yeah, I still have the fear, and I don't think I'm recovering anytime soon. So that is how I kind of went with my new year. And I think those couple of days, then I was like, you know what, I need to actually get my shit together big time. So I've started the new year off in the pits of hell. Seriously, can it really get any worse than this? It can only really go up. So I was like, that's fine. That is exactly the plan. That's exactly what I wanted. Me being in the pits of hell and just having to go up for here. So it cannot get any worse. And I'm not going to lie, it's really only kind of went like this ever since the 1st. But we're going to change that. I'm determined we're going to change that. So if you're looking to follow our social medias, we are Hear Me Out Pod on Instagram and TikTok, but the O is a 0. And we're also available on Spotify and YouTube. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys had the most fantastic New Year and Christmas, and I will see you guys very soon. Bye!